All right, today, let's answer the age-old question. Is the Buzzz still really that good? Or are there other competitors in the market that kind of make it less viable? I'm just going to be testing the 3 top most popular mid-ranges, see how I feel like they fare in the market. I will say all these are a little beat-in, so they might differ a little bit from right out of the box, but that's kind of how mid-ranges are. You throw them to death, so let's see how they fare on a 9-hole. A little short. Oh, overall, totally fine. All right, definitely one of my favorite things to do with mid-ranges, make them into zones, even if they're not. So here we have the hard left to right. Let's see if I can get close. Oh, I really like that. Oh. Get through. I think I hit a couple of trees, but all those flights were totally acceptable. All right, somehow they all ended up basically in the same area, even though they had kind of very different flights. You can get a POV, birdie putt with the hex. Oh, not bad. All right, this is like the quintessential mid-range hole, uphill, 170. There's basically no disc that is better than a mid-range for this type of shot. Big skip, no skip. Oh, too far right. Oh, so close. All right, my shanked Buzzz shot got here on my second shot. So let's see if I can save par. Ooh, barely, but we got it. So that continues par in every single disc so far. Probably not surprising. These holes are either birdie or die, so pars are basically what you're gonna get. I gotta say, I actually trust the Buzzz the most. It has a little bit of stability to it, even though I beat it in to death, but I trust it in windy conditions like this. Whereas the Mako and Hex, I don't. I'm just expecting it to flip on me. I kind of expect it to act erratically. Let's not say it's a bad disc, but it is to say that in conditions like these where you're gonna be facing windy conditions, I tend to not like the more narrow feel of it. Easy to grip for sure, but the ability to get the exact flight that you want seems to actually come with the Buzzz the most, even though I did just shake it. But on a shot like this, I would definitely go Buzzz over these two. But let's see if I can actually hit the shot. It might be a little too far wide right. Oh, not a terrible ace run actually. All right, next up, Mako. Get through. Okay, it's a little short, but not bad. And then Hexy Boy is gonna probably carry a little bit too far right, so I gotta be careful of that. Tickled some trees. But hey, all those are totally fine shots. If I was in like a tournament round, I would trust all those. Having said that, I still think the extra little bit of stability on the Buzzz makes me kind of trust it and make me want to use it more. I commit on every shot, it worked on every shot, so I'm not complaining. Mako, let's hit it. All right, first bird, and the Buzzz is right under the basket. So with that, the only disc not to birdie is the Hex. All right, basically another quintessential shot that a mid-range should be able to do. We do have some headwind, but I think we're more than capable. 235. All right, let's see if I can get some redemption on the Hex. Did not commit nearly enough. I wouldn't say that's a Hex problem. All right, let's go Buzzz next. There we go. That should be pretty close. Mako might turn a little too far right. Just gotta be careful about that. Really, really good flight. Just carried the whole way, even though I threw it a little bit too low. Another long putt for the Hex, but we make these sometimes. Oh, Mako. Let's Mako one. Let's go. So that puts me 2 under on everything but the Hex. Overall, I think it's funny how indicative every disc in the mid-range slot is, because it's basically just a reflection of your form. Is your form good? You're probably gonna love mid-ranges. Is your form kind of meh, like mine? It's a reflection of that too. I think basically all these do encapsulate that fact of a mid-range, where you're not gonna rip it like over 400 unless you're like a true bomber, but you're also not gonna shank it too hard because it's gonna go in a straight line, assuming you throw it in a straight angle, which I struggle with. But before we get to the last few holes, I just wanna say I depend on all these most rounds. So the fact that they are kind of performing the same, it's not really a surprise. And I think it's just indicative of marketing because people love their Buzzz, but all these other mid-ranges fly very similar, at least in my hands. Once again, well, let's start with the Buzzz. I'm gonna give it a little bit more turn than I would other mids because I just feel like it's gonna have a little bit of fade at the end. Oh, get over? Okay, that was actually a great flight. All right, so the Hex, I'm gonna throw it nearly identical, but just a little bit less Anheuser. Too low. Finishing it with the Mako. Perfect, that's within 20 feet. All right, let's see if we can hit these. Gonna start with probably the easiest, good old Hex. Oh yeah there, bud. Good on ya. Next up, Mako. Oh! Narrowly squeaks in. All right, got another windy shot. Throw with enough right to left that don't get too caught up on the right side. But this is one of those shots where you probably can't see it as the cameraman. Oh. All right, let's give it one more go with the Hex. Oh, big skip. Oh yeah. Skipped like an extra 30 feet to the left, which is exactly where you want to be. Buzzz will probably be the best shot for this. So let's see if I can get enough power to have it come back and skip right at the basket. Oh yeah, big skip, big skip. Buzzz, you're not washed. Nope. The Buzzz is definitely in first place right now. And again, I feel like so much of it is just trust in the disc. And with the pretty deep, but not too deep rim, I think it really gives me a lot more comfort to kind of rip it with a little bit more Anheuser angle. Whereas if I did that with this disc, Hex might just start rolling. So I really like the stability, but not too much stability. 250 straight ahead. The only obstacle is getting a little bit too far left and early trees to the right, but should not really come into play with the mid-range. Oh, that was no hyzer. Oh yeah. All right, I can't really film this entire shot because it's so woodsy. But one of the things that I love about my Hex is the ability to be really out of position, forehand to the sky Annie, and it just kind of fades out just enough to get to the basket. I've done it countless times. That is one thing that the Buzzz does not do. I threw it a little bit too hard. But the point remains, if you need to have a savior shot where you're so out of position, you can only go super wide, have it come back to you with just enough flip. That is what I love my Hex for. Let's go, let's go. All right, so as we come to a close on this battle between mids, I kind of didn't expect to love the Buzzz as much as I did. Like, I've thrown it a million times, but when you actually compare it to the competitors, and there's countless others, I think they much more replicate these, much less than the uniqueness of the Buzzz. So the fact that it is the best-selling mid-range, is it outdated? No, still the best, in my opinion. And there's a lot of iterations, so if you need a little bit less stability, a little bit more stability, a little bit closer to a zone, but not as overstable as the zone. But the Buzzz is just kind of the best for most shots, for most people under 250. So I'm really not that surprised that it won, but I will say I did think these were gonna do better for me. That's not to say I won't use these, but these are actually feeling like more utility discs and more like if I need something to flip, I'll probably be throwing my Mako and Hex, whereas for most straight shots, I'm probably gonna be using my Buzzz. And I actually just almost aced with this in my last tournament, so I know I can depend on it in most situations. Let's go on to the final hole. Let's just start with the Buzzz. Gotta make it through the gap on the right. That should be parked. I know people are probably saying you should have used the rock. I think they're interchangeable, at least for my game. So using the Mako over the rock, to me, is a small subtlety that doesn't really matter. Oh, that was pretty great too. All right, Hex. I threw that with so much hyzer at the end. So for whatever reason, the Hex, not really loving me today, but overall, I do love to throw it on super Anheuser forehand approaches. It does great for me, but in the typical mid-range slot, it's just a little too finicky for me. Oh. Let's give it one more go. Didn't love how that ended. There we go. I can putt. These discs are good.